Well, good evening, everyone. Matt over at SFREP. Glad you could join me this evening or this afternoon if you're on the West Coast. That's why I do these later ones sometimes. It's to give those of you on the West Coast a chance to come to these as well, because otherwise it's really early in the morning for you guys. So glad you could join me for this webinar on Appraise-It Pro, UAD 3.6 and Appraise-It Pro. But this is going to be mainly geared towards people who are not SFREP customers. However, those of you who are SFREP customers, you're going to get a lot out of this too, because you're going to get to see our UAD 3.6 interface in Appraise-It Pro. And that's one of the cool things about what we're going to be doing is, unlike everyone else except for Alamode, we are putting the new UAD 3.6 interface into our existing software. So if you are already using Appraise-It Pro, the move over to the new UAD 3.6 will be super easy for you. If you're using another software package like Bradford or Alamode or ACI, it's also going to be very simple and easy for you to move over to the new UAD 3.6 and Appraise-It Pro as well, because of the way that we're implementing it. And I'm going to show you how that's all going to work. But suffice to say, I think you're going to like it. The way we're implementing the new UAD 3.6 is basically the way that you've been filling out reports for the longest time. So not a huge change for you, and we'll show you to here in a couple minutes. Now, I'm not going to take a ton of your time this evening. It's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, and I've got things I want to do, and I know you guys do too. But I do want to go over a little bit of backstory for you. We do one of these webinars that is specifically about the UAD 3.6. That's not what this webinar is. I'm specifically going to be showing you the UAD 3.6 and Appraise-It Pro, but I do want to give you at least a little bit of backstory on this, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started. One thing I do want you guys to do, though, is I love to chat with you guys, and I want to answer your questions. So if you are on the desktop or laptop interface for YouTube, over on the right-hand side here, there'll be a chat window, and you can actually chat with us if you're signed in to your Google account. If you are not signed in, or if you're watching this after the fact, because we do automatically record these and you can watch them at your leisure, you can also email me directly and I'll answer any questions that you might have. That email address is going to be training@sfrep.com. That's training@sfrep.com. And of course, if you have any technical questions, you can contact our tech support anytime, 7 days a week, 800-644-4051. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's take a look at a little bit of the backstory on the UAD 3.6, and then we're going to show you the new UAD 3.6 in Appraise-It Pro. As I said, my name is Matt Johnson, Matthew Johnson, if you will. Communications Director for SFREP, been with the company for 19 years. Great company to work for. If you don't know anything about our company, I do want to kind of give you a little bit of backstory on this. So I've been with the company for 19 years. It's a wonderful company to work for. We are not owned by some big conglomerate. We are independently owned. We're based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, although I think we're going to be reincorporating in North Carolina because that's where most of our operations are now. Our technical operations are in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and then our sales are in the Greenville-Spartanburg area of South Carolina, the upstate of South Carolina. So we were founded in 1983 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Software for real estate professionals, that's what SFREP means. And we pioneered DOS-based real estate appraisal software. A lot of people are like, are you guys new? Haven't heard of you before? Nope. We've been doing this for a very long time. As a matter of fact, we're older than everybody else except for ACI. And I think ACI is about 3 months older than we are. So we've been doing this for a very long time. In the early 1990s, one of our co-founders relocated to Western North Carolina. They loved it up there. And they brought the company's technical operations, the programming and the tech support up there with them. And today, we continue that legacy with a dedicated sales team, like I said, based in the upstate of South Carolina, tech support and programming based in the mountains of Western North Carolina in the Asheville area. Back in 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic, we launched Appraise-It Pro. It was a complete rewrite and overhaul of our flagship Appraise-It forms processing suite. And because we rewrote our software from the ground up. We wrote it in the same development environment that they program Microsoft Office in. So if you look at our software, it will look very familiar. It looks a lot like a Microsoft Office. And because we have that up-to-date, high-tech foundation, we were able to implement the UAD 3.6 in what's called a what you see is what you get interface, WYSIWYG. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the way you've been filling out reports for decades. All the software vendors do what you see is what you get. And what it means is you fill out your appraisal report in a graphical representation of a printed form. Okay, so the UAD 2.6, the current UAD forms, it would not be a stretch for you to print that out, feed it into a typewriter, and start filling out a report. You cannot do that with the UAD 3.6 dynamic form. Matter of fact, I had someone today email me. They were like, hey, do you have an example printed out form that I can take a look at? And I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, I can kind of print something out for you based on a specific type of appraisal report, but there's no just printed form where you can kind of practice filling it out with a pen and paper. It's dynamically generated from your software. So you have to have software to actually create it. So let's look at the timeline here, because this is very important. And there's a lot of confusion on these timelines. So our first date, very important date, kind of, is September 8th of this year. September 8th, 2025, between then and January 25th of 2026, is what's going to be called limited production. And that's when they're going to start, and when I say them, AMCs, lenders, banks, everybody. They're going to very slowly, they're going to start issuing UAD 3.6 reports to users who say that they are ready and their software is ready to begin accepting them. You will not see, I doubt you will see a UAD 3.6 come at you even in the month of September. This is going to ramp up very slowly as we get closer to Christmas and the new year, and then you will start seeing more and more of these UAD 3.6 reports coming at you. As far as I know, Rocket Mortgage is the only large lender that's going to start doing them pretty early on, and they're probably not going to start issuing reports in earnest until October. So it's coming. Do not kid yourselves. They are not going to put this off. These are hard dates that they are bound and determined to stick to. So take it to the bank. September 8th, that's when they're going to start limited production. The next date is January 26th of 2026 and running from there through November 1st of 2026. That's going to be what's called broad production. That's the ramp up. That's when they're going to start issuing these UAD 3.6 reports more and more. You'll still have UAD 2.6 reports getting issued and sent in, but they're going to really start switching everything over to UAD 3.6. And then the big date, the final one, well, not the final one, but the big date is going to be November 2nd of next year. That is going to be the death date of the UAD 2.6. From that date forward, all new reports being issued will be in the UAD 3.6 format. There is one more date that nobody ever talks to, and that's the retirement date of May 3rd, 2027. That is basically the date where the pipeline will be cleared of all UAD 2.6. So remember, they're going to be issuing 2.6 reports up until November 2nd. Then there's going to be, it's going to be going through the process of getting processed, of loans getting issued, of revisions needing to be done. All of that should be cleared out of the system by May 3rd. I would think it would be much sooner than that, but they're giving until May 3rd for all of that stuff to get cleared out. And from that point forward, it is UAD 3.6 all the way. So the new URAR, it's a massive departure from the forms of today. And they don't like you to call it a form at all. They want you to call it a report. That's because there's no form. It is one form type or one report type that will do everything. So whether it is a manufactured home or a condo or a single family home, They're all done on the same report. And the report, as you start filling it out, will morph into the type of report that you need to do. And I'll show you how that's going to work. And all of the different software vendors are doing it in a different way. This new report is going to replace all of the traditional UAD 2.6 reports that we've had for, at least since 2005 and many of them before then. The 1004, the 1073, the 1004C, the 2055, 1007, all those reports go away, and you have one report type to end them all. Okay? So, a couple cool things with the new report type. You get text and photo addenda. That concept is no longer needed. As you have photos, they'll be embedded in the report. So you'll have photos of, let's say, the garage when you're talking about the garage. So there'll be a section of the report talking about a garage. There's where your garage photos go. There's where all the text about those go. And these text boxes are dynamically sized. So as you keep filling things out, and you can see here in this little video that's playing, as you fill these sections out, they'll actually grow as they're needed. Now, there is technically a character limit that can go into these fields, but that character limit is so high that you should not run into it, and it shouldn't be a problem. Now, this is a new paradigm because the interface that's used to collect the information is going to be different depending upon which software you're using. The GSEs, they focused on the end product, both the PDF version of it, which you see here, and the XML version, which is what the computers and the servers are going to use to process and make decisions and all that kind of stuff on. And the upside of this is that for the end user, whether that is the lender, the AMC, but specifically the borrower and the seller, they're going to get a report back that they can read and that makes sense. Because I don't know if you've sold or bought a house recently, but if you don't know, like my wife looked at our appraisal and was just like, what the hell is this? Like, I have no idea what any of this means. And of course I do. So I explained it all and I had to, flip over and show her what the abbreviations meant and the abbreviations in them. And she's like, this is a mess. And she's right. So this new report is going to be much easier for her and layman's to be able to actually read. So it's going to be great for that. Also, new appraisers coming into the profession, they're going to have an easier time learning the new UAD 3.6 than 2.6 because there are no abbreviations. The cryptic abbreviations all go away. So with the old 2.6, you had these static forms that were essentially printable reports that you could use in a typewriter and type out. And all of the different software vendors did it roughly the same way. Once again, that WYSIWYG, that what you see is what you get. This is the UAD 2.6 and Appraise-It Pro here on the screen, where you just go into a field, you fill it out, etc. Now, some software vendors, including SFREP and a la mode, were able to build the dynamic report engines that let you interact with with a graphical representation of the output report directly. In other words, we are letting SFREP is going to let you in Appraise-It Pro continue filling out reports in the way that you've been doing it for decades. So that learning curve is not going to be quite as big with Appraise-It Pro. Now, other software vendors, including Bradford and ACI, they built interfaces that bear some to no resemblance to the output report. And you'll fill out all of the needed data and conclusions, and then the software will generate the report for review. In ACI's Sky Workbench, which is their web-based version, and Bradford is also a web-based version, you won't actually be filling out the actual report. You can preview it, but then it has to generate the PDF to show it to you. But you're not filling out an actual representation of the report itself. And so what I have been telling everyone, obviously, if you're not a customer of SFREP, I want you to look at us. I want you to see how we're doing it, and that's what you're doing right now. I'm going to show you. But I also encourage you to go see what Alamode's doing, what ACI is doing, what Bradford Technologies is doing, what Freedom Appraise is doing. You should go and look at what everybody's doing, make a decision on who you want to go with. Because if you have been toying with the idea of switching software, now would be the time to do it, because you're going to have to relearn how to do things anyway. And you're not going to be able to use your old reports anyway. More on that later. So now would be a great time to figure out, hey, I think these guys are doing it better. I like the way these guys do business better. Hopefully you will say that about us and come and talk to us. But if you don't, hey, you know, I want you to go where you're going to be happy. You know what I mean? So let's look ahead. The GSEs have published a wealth of information on UAD 3.6. You can go to fanniemae.com/UAD to see Fannie Mae's documentation and examples and tests and quizzes and things like that. And for Freddie Mac, for whatever reason, you got to do SF for single, I think it stands for single family, sf.freddiemac.com/UAD. Kind of dumb. I wish they just made it freddiemac.com/UAD, but they didn't. And don't forget continuing education. For those of you who are in Texas, I myself, along with Bradford Technologies and Alamode and Freedom Appraise, will be at the Texas Association of Appraisers. I think that's what it's called. They're meeting just north of Austin in Georgetown, Texas, on the 1st of July. 1st of August. So would love to see you there. And then also next month, I'll have to look up the dates, is Valuation Expo. And it's in Las Vegas at Caesars Palace. If you've never been to Valuation Expo or to Appraisal Summit, which happens a month later at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, we go to those every year. We'd love to meet you, show you our software. All the other vendors are going to be there, and you can get CE. You get those CE credits by going there. So you get a Las Vegas vacation, and you get to write it off as a work expense. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I am going to show you our software, and this is a current build of our software. Now, this is a alpha version, meaning that is for internal testing at the moment. But within the next week, 2 weeks at the most, by the end of July, we are going to open our software up for beta testing. And you do not have to be an SFREP customer to start playing around with it. If you want to play around with our version of UAD 3.6, you just need to send an email to beta, B-E-T-A, at sfrep.com. Beta at sfrep.com. Now, obviously, we are going to prioritize SFREP customers first. But if you're interested in seeing the software, we will also allow you guys to see it as well. And I'm going to go over it more in a little bit, but we do offer 6 months completely free. And I don't like to call it a demo. I more like to call it a preview, because it's not a demo. It's the full-fledged Appraise-It Pro. You can use it. You can do appraisals with it. It comes with everything you need for 6 months, absolutely free. There's no strings attached. We don't do contracts, never will, never have. And the way that we license our software is also very advantageous to you guys. And I'll go over that here in a little bit. But first, let's look at Appraise-It Pro. The first thing I want to show you, I'm going to come over here to New. Now, I do webinars on how to use Appraise-It Pro. This is not what this is going to be, but you'll see how things work in here anyway. Under to UAD 2.6, here's the 1004. I'm going to double click on it so we can open up a blank default report. And here it is. And of course, this is going to look very similar to what you see in any software package. Alamode, ACI, Bradford, we've all been doing this for many, many years. We've all figured all of this stuff out, and it's all basically the same. You've got, with our software, you've got these panels here. You have the report panel, which is the table of contents, the validator, the responses, and then a format panel. So if I go into a formatted field, I've got this ability to fill out this over here and then apply it with the correct formatting, because you got all these cryptic abbreviations. So that is the UAD 2.6 in Appraise-It Pro. Now what I can do is I can close that out, come back over here, and under 3.6, now right now it says development preview, obviously, I'm going to open up the UAD, Uniform Residential Appraisal Report. This is the UAD 3.6, and it's in the same program. If you are using ACI or Bradford, there is a brand new program that you are going to have to learn and use. And for at least the foreseeable future, with both of those programs, you are going to need to keep switching back and forth between ClickForms and Nighthawk, or between the old ACI software and their Sky Workbench. You're going to have to go back and forth. So whenever you do a UAD 3.6, you're going to go to this web-based software. Whenever you want to do a UAD 2.6, you got to go back to your old software. With Appraise-It Pro, you're going to be in the same software, and you'll be able to just switch back and forth as if it was a different report type. And as you can see, it looks very similar. Now, this format panel is probably going to go away, so I'm just going to get rid of it. But here you have your responses, your report, and your validator. Now, it's important to know that in the UAD 2.6, you can move all of these pages around. In the UAD 3.6, you cannot do that, because the order of the report is set by the GSEs. They want everything in the same place, no matter what software you're using, no matter what type of report it is. They always want to know where the market conditions are. They want to know where the market history is. They want to know where the comparables are. So all of that stuff, that order is set in stone, and you basically just got to roll with what they've chosen to order it in. Now, in the UAD 2.6, you can just, click and drag these around. Cannot do that in the new one. But just like with Appraise-It Pro, if I open up site, there's my site. If I open up market, there's my market. And they open up as tabs up here at the top. I can actually pull these out. I can make them free floating windows, put them on a different monitor, pop them back in just like you would with a web browser. And remember, this is a dynamic report. So for instance, if I go to the sales contract section, right now, this is a blank report. There is no sales contract. So essentially, this section just says sales contract. Is there a sales contract? No. And if there was no sales contract section in my final report, this would not be printed. This would not be included in the report. But if I check yes, now things start to fill in. And you can see the dynamic nature of the report here. And so, I can type in here just like I would with the regular forms filling software. 500,000 as my contract price. Contract date, I could type it in directly, or I could use a date picker here. So let's say maybe it was get patriotic, make it on July 4th. Transfer terms, use this to pull it down. Maybe somebody couldn't afford their payments and we did a short sale for them. And the cool thing here is as I start typing into these fields, let's say total sales concessions. And this is just something I always type in just to have some text from dates back from when I used to do software testing. As I start just typing the stuff in this case, it's word wrapping and it looks weird, but you can see how these text fields just grow dynamically as you need to add to them. We'll just put that in there for once. There we go. If you are a Appraise-It Pro user, you've probably wanted for a very long time side-by-side comparables. They are added in the new UAD 3.6. So if I want to add in additional comparables, I just click Add Comparable, and boom, they start filling in. So if I close out of this and I want to show you an actual filled out report, I'll come here to open up the single family residential scenario. This is a report that was given to us for testing by the GSEs. Some of the data in here may not make a lot of sense to a trained appraiser's eye. We didn't write it, they did, so just letting you know. But this is essentially a filled out report. So if I come in here and I go to the subject property, I've added in a photo here. Here's the information, and I've got mostly check boxes, and I've got fields and pull downs. So pull downs and check boxes are the name of the game. And you've probably been hearing that, hey, you're going to have to go out to an appraisal or to an address, and you're going to have to collect 3,000 or 4,000 data points. That's total. And you're that's a total amount, not total the software. It's total amount of data points that you're going to have to collect. You're never going to collect that many because it really depends on the type of property and what type of report you're doing. In reality, you're only going to have to fill out maybe 2,000, maybe 1,500 data points. There are going to be more than what you're dealing with now, but not 3,000. That's why using a mobile app is going to be very important. Now, there are some software vendors that are preaching mobile app, and telling you that you have to use a mobile app. You don't have to use a mobile app. It will make your life easier, and we are going to be launching a new mobile app that will work on any platform around the time that the limited production goes into effect in September. But you don't have to use a mobile app. As a matter of fact, what we're planning on doing is we're going to have some printable forms, paper forms that you can print out for different scenario types. So for single family residential, we'll have a kind of a checklist form that you can print out and put on your clipboard, because a lot of people don't want to do mobile. You may want to use a printed form and use your pen and check things off. So we're going to give you that option by having a printed form. But using a mobile app will be more helpful. The validator still exists down here. For those of you who are not SFREP customers, the way this will work is, let's say if you win it, I don't think this is working yet in this particular build that I have. In a newer build that I did not install right before I did this, I have a annoying habit of doing that, of installing a build right before I do one of these, and then something goes wrong. So I did not do that this time. But in a build that we do have, this is working. But if you were to type in, have fat fingers and type in BC instead of NC, oh, it is working. So you notice when I type in BC, that's not a state, it's a Canadian province. So it turns red. And then I'll get an error. This over here is where it's not working. There would be a red full stop over here. Oh, it is actually working. It just calls it an error. So if I was somewhere else in the report and I was like, oh, wait, there's an error for state, I can double click and it's going to jump me. Oh, good, that is working. It's going to jump me back to the subject property where I can go in, change it back to where it's supposed to be, and then that error is going to go away. Now, that is what's called real-time validation. There's also going to be comprehensive validation, but that you'll want to run at the end of the report when you're done with the report, and you'll just click on validate. And then when you're done with the report, you'll come up here to orders, and you'll do create MISMO XML, and it'll spit out the MISMO XML file, which is cool because the new MISMO XML format is actually a container. It's actually a zip file. And inside of there is going to be the XML version of the report, the PDF version of the report, and it's going to have all the photos. And the cool thing about that is that you'll be able to send that container file, that MISMO XML file, you'll now be able to send it to somebody who uses ACI Workbench or some other software. And they'll be able to open it up and have everything that they need. And basically, you'll be able to share reports back and forth between different software. It's really cool. I think that's going to mostly be everything that I really wanted to show you guys. Like I said, we're going to be doing beta testing that is going to start up towards the end of this month. Okay. So I'm going to give you some information here. How many people do you know at other software vendors that will give you their direct contact info? I'm going to give you mine. Now, I will tell you, text me. If you call, I will eventually call you back. I'll get your voicemail. But we have one of these fancy, we work from home. I mean, I'm in my home office here right now. So we work from home. We have a fancy voice over IP system, and it allows me to receive and send text. So my direct line here in my office is area code 828-919-9082. Go ahead and write that down, 828-919-9082. I'll be happy to talk to you if you want to text me. Also, email, matt@sfrep.com. Love to get emails from you guys. If you have any questions, if you want any clarification, if you want assistance in getting started with Appraise-It Pro, I'll be happy to help you out. And then our contact information here at SFREP. If you want to talk to our sales office, talk about pricing, we're going to go over pricing here in just a second. 800-523-0872 is the phone number. They're open 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, which covers the West Coast until 5 p.m. If you want to get on our beta program, beta@sfrep.com. If you want to see some more of these webinars that we have scheduled, training.sfrep.com, and then click on our training calendar. And then, of course, if you want to watch a replay of this or any of our other webinars, you can just go to our YouTube channel. We do everything on YouTube. That way you don't have to sign up for anything. youtube.com/SFREP. Pricing. As I said before, 6 months absolutely free. That is no strings attached, no contracts ever. 800-523-0872, sales@sfrep.com. And I do want to go over some pricing with you guys. Okay. So if we go to our website, if you want to try out Appraise-It Pro right now, of course, remember, the UAD 3.6 is not going to be in it at the moment. But if you want to try it out, you can just go to our website, sfrep.com, click on free demo. That will download the software, save it to your desktop, run the installation. When it's done, it's not going to interfere with any of your other software. Even if you're using Appraise-It Classic, will not interfere. And then run it. On the first run, it will go to a registration screen and you will just select demo. And like I said, it's called a demo, but in reality, it's a preview. And you will have full-blown access to full-blown Appraise-It Pro for 6 months. No strings attached. If you get to the end of that 6-month period and you decide it's not for you, we'll shake hands and walk away, virtually shake hands and walk away. Let's go over pricing real quick. I think we have some great pricing, some of the leading in the industry. We have 3 levels. We have Appraise-It Pro Silver, Appraise-It Pro Gold, and Appraise-It Pro Platinum. Most people who are coming over from other software packages, they go for the Platinum. The Platinum is basically an all-you-can-eat, everything-you-need package at $99 a month. And the important thing to know is the way that we license our software. You can install your software on as many computers as you want, and we license our software to the signing appraiser. So if you have 2 signing appraisers and then you have 3 people that work for you that are helpers, maybe they are a secretary, maybe they help you with typing out reports, maybe they're a trainee, no charge for them. So if you have 2 signing appraisers at your business, then you pay $99 a month times 2. So you pay $200 a month. That's it. Install it on as many computers as you want. You can install it on a network. We do not charge extra for networks. We do not charge extra for tech support. We don't tier out our tech support. And I will guarantee you 90% of the time when you call our tech support, somebody's going to answer right away. And if they don't, just leave a message. They'll probably call you back within 10 minutes. This is all the stuff that's included in each package. As I said, the Platinum package here, it's going to give you pretty much everything. It's going to give you virtually unlimited flood maps, which, by the way, are not going to be as big of a deal in the new UAD 3.6 as they are in the 2.6. But we do give you pretty much unlimited flood maps. They limit it at 400, but if you use more than that, we'll give you more. It also includes the comp link service, which will link to your MLS so that you can find addresses and bring that information over into your appraisal. The Inspect a Lot, which is our current mobile app. If you're a Bradford customer, you'll know that name. We co-developed it with them. And so we use the Inspect a Lot app. However, we will have a new app that is going to be coming out very soon. And with the Platinum, you get a personalized website. If you want to look at what the websites look like, you just go to websites.sfrep.com and you can check them out there. If you are on a silver or gold plan, you can add any of these services a la carte. Like the website, for instance, is $25 a month. There's no setup fee for it. The websites are like my personal project. So the way we do our websites is you just say, hey, I want a website, and then I take care of everything for you. We're going to register a domain for you. We write all the content for you, unless you want to write it yourself. Any images you want to put on there, if you have a logo, we take care of all that stuff for you. Okay. So I do want to answer any questions that you guys may have. So use that chat over on the right-hand side. Or if you're watching this in theater mode, you'll use it down at the bottom. But I'd love to answer any questions you might have. I'm also going to stay in the chat room a little bit after we've ended the webinar and answer any questions that you might have via chat. So if you're shy, you can do it that way. But also, if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're a little bit shy, you can send any questions that you might have to me, training@sfrep.com. Cool thing is I act as the clearinghouse at my company. I have a degree in communications, but I also have a minor in computer information systems. So I talk both sides. So I stand in between the sales office and those folks, and also our technical office. So if you have a question and I don't know the answer, I will find it out for you. Okay, so training@sfrep.com. I don't see any questions. I do see a lot of people in here, but no questions. So hopefully you guys aren't too shy. But I will stay in the chat for a little bit longer after we end this webinar. Otherwise, I hope everyone has an awesome night, and stay cool out there, because here in Charlotte, it has been muggy and hot. And I know it's that way over a lot of the swaths of the country. So stay cool out there as you're doing your inspections. Stay hydrated, stay safe. And I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your night and a great weekend coming up. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.